A man's prime is whenever he can call the most shots in the course of his life. And it doesn't matter if it's 25, it's 35, 65, 85, or whatever. So recently I witnessed a very catastrophic breakup on the internet, on social media. And it was between this billionaire and his much younger wife. I'd say the man should be like in his 60s and the lady in her 20s. So you got a very wide age gap between them. And so they had issues, and whatever happened, happened. And for some reason, they decided to bring it on social media, like most people do these days. And they started dragging each other, like they say. And there would be all these write-ups on the internet trying to make a point, trying to justify a point, and all that. And even though I didn't quite give them much attention to whatever was going on at the very beginning, it got to a point where my whole social media was just bombarded with their issues. And it was at this point that I went through some of the write-ups, and oh boy, childish on some parts, nasty on some parts, and all that. And as I went through the nasty exchanges, something caught my attention from the lady. And it was about her prime, or let's say female's prime in general. Because in a couple of her write ups, you would hear her mention her prime. You would hear her say things like, I gave you my prime years. No matter what you do, I gave you my prime years and all that. It kept coming up, my prime years, and all that, as if to say or to insinuate that she had done the man a favor marrying him in the very first place because she was in her prime and he wasn't. And so it got me asking the question, what exactly is a man's prime? But before we get into that, let's just be clear that, well, she's saying that she got married to this man at her prime. It's right. Because for females, of course, their prime is when they are much younger, because it's when they are the most pretty and they're the most fertile, and they can have kids easily without complications and all that. So again, she's saying she got married to this man at her prime. It's right. But now, like I said, it got me thinking, what is a man's prime actually? And it boils down to this. A man's prime is whenever he can call the most shots in the course of his life. And it doesn't matter if it's 25, it's 35, 65, 85, or whatever. And being able to call these shots comes down to two or three things: wealth, health, and to some degree power. Which is to say, as long as a man has got enough money, enough resources, he is at his prime. And like I said before, this could be at any point in time in the course of his life. Which is to say, what this lady probably doesn't understand is that it wasn't like she was in her prime years while the man wasn't. No. Actually, the only reason why she got married to this man in the very first place is because the man was in his prime. A billionaire and with some degree of power, because I understand the man is into politics right now. And so the point, it was prime for prime. It was her youth versus his money. It was her youth versus his influence. It was her youth versus his power. And so back to the main point. As a man, you have the capability of staying in your prime for as much as you want. Take good care of your health, make a lot of money, and be a person of influence. And you will forever be in your prime.